Good morning, everyone. Good morning and welcome to our Zoom participants. Just wanted to make sure that we have everyone in the room. If you can hear me and you're on Zoom, please just chat and say, hey, we hear you, we see you. I want to make sure we're all good to go. Excellent. So it looks like we're rocking and rolling. So we have about 24 participants that are logged in via Zoom. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And we've got a handful here that are troopers and are here with us physically. We'll get started in about 5 minutes, okay?
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Again, we have a few people that are signing in here physically. For the people that are online, thank you for joining in. We appreciate you guys coming on board. We are so excited. So we went through the first phase of our Fourth Band Entrepreneur Initiative, and I think the majority of you guys may have participated in the first phase, which was all virtual, obviously, because we were in another phase of the pandemic. So it is exciting to actually be able to see faces, right? Smiling faces here physically. Some people they're still online, but it's great to have a hybrid kind of opportunity. I don't know about you guys, but I like to be social and see people, and the learning is easier and better face to face than it is virtual. But the beauty of the virtual process for us has been that we've been able to engage a number of different resources from a consultant standpoint, and you guys will be very happy to see some of the very high quality people that we'll have joining our team. So the great thing is that now we can pull people in from California or New York or wherever to come in and really talk about they're really experts in their field. And so we can grab a resource from anywhere. And so we're in a new phase from this virtual standpoint. So we're glad to be here, glad to get things started. So my name is Stephen Carter. I'm one half of the Carter brothers. I look a whole lot like the other guy, Dr. Sterling Carter, who you guys heard from yesterday. And he's been working hard this entire week because I was on vacation this week. I just got back from San Diego late last night, which was amazing, by the way. The weather, to come back to this, is kind of a little disappointing. But anyway, I love my city, so I'm glad to be here. I wanted to show our website really quick and talk about the Fort Bend Entrepreneur Program. You guys have already seen and been online and seen our website, but I just wanted to show it real quick and point out a few things on the website. Can you guys see that website? Great. Let's exit out of that. All right. So if you guys go to our website, I just wanted to review that our course criteria as well as the course content is on the website. As all of you guys know, I'm sure you're aware, the value of this program is in the content that we're providing, and our purpose really is to ensure that we can double the success of all of our participants. And that means that we want to double your revenue, double your profits. And let me just say, we'll talk about this. Doubling your revenue does not also always mean doubling your profits. So yes, we would love to double your revenue, but if that doesn't mean doubling your profits, then that's not the whole goal. So we'll talk about that as well. But the value of this program is all the content that we're going to give you. We're also going to award you with a $5,000 grant at the end if you participate and go through the entire process. But I guarantee you that the value that you'll receive out of this program is 10 times or more valuable than the $5,000 incentive. That's just a little carrot to get you guys to get to the bigger picture, right? And this program we call it our accelerator program, and the reason that we're doing an accelerator program is because all of you guys are already in business, and we don't want to take 12 months to get you to where you need to go. We're going to give you a lot of information very quickly in a 3-month time frame. That means that you're going to have to do a lot of work on your own in terms of doing homework, reviewing some of the material, working with your consultants, with your one-on-ones, and really deep diving into this information. The value that you get out of this program is based upon the value or the energy that you put in. We need to know what your issues are so that we can give you back exactly what you need. Everyone in this room is probably in a different place. Everyone online is probably in a different place. We all have similar issues, but they're a little bit different. We want to make sure that we give you a customized program that works for you. So some of what we'll talk about today may or may not relate to you, not all of it, right? Our goal is going to be that when we walk away with something of value that we'll be able to implement immediately, and then we'll deep dive into to that content when we're with our consultants. Reminder that you guys need to log on to our online portal, the Lonely Entrepreneur Initiative, the Lonely Entrepreneur TLE, that we like to call it. Michael Dermer, I think, is online. He's the owner and the developer of that program. We're so excited to have a partnership with this young man. His portal is amazing. But if you guys log into that, it's a self-serve portal that you'll be able to go through and deep dive again into some of the topics that you may have issues with. So log into that portal, go step by step. You can jump into the areas that you want to see, or jump around and go through it, from top to bottom, whatever works for you, but definitely a great resource. Today, we're going to go through course 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the website. I'm going to introduce our speakers here in just a little bit, but you'll be able to go on the website here and see all of the value that we're going to be bringing to you guys. All right. Without further ado, I want to jump into the program. I do want to shout out to we've got Floyd Griffith, who's in the back. He's trying to be shy back there, but Floyd is one of our esteemed consultants. We're excited to have him on board. He'll be working with some of you guys in terms of your one-on-one sessions. The other thing is that if you scroll down to the bottom of this website, you'll see a list of all of our consultants here as well that will be engaged in the program, and you'll be working with those guys on one-on-ones depending upon your industry and what your needs may be. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our next speaker. So let me go to his presentation here. Okay. So I'd like to introduce Dr. Sterling Carter. It's like with Mary, because I always say he's my better half, right? So sometimes he says I'm his better half. It just depends on what the situation is. But definitely would like to introduce Dr. Sterling Carter. So Dr. Sterling Carter has his doctorate in physical therapy. He is a owner of a number of award-winning businesses throughout the Houston area and beyond. He's my partner in Carter Brothers Consulting. He's been in the business world since 2008, I believe. He is a military veteran. He's actually an officer, a retired officer from the United States Army, and we thank you for your service, sir. He is a renowned writer. We actually have some of our books that we're going to share with you guys as giveaways, but an Amazon best-selling writer. And he has a lot of knowledge. When we talk about what we're going to give to you guys today, everyone that you're going to see and speak to are business owners. So we're not just talking about some consultants that learned this in class. These are guys and gals that have ran businesses before, understand where you guys are sitting, and know what it means to be a business owner, to go through be in the trenches. So Sterling Carter, Dr. Sterling Carter, come on up.
Thank you. Okay, good morning, everyone, and good to see you guys again. Actually, face to face, because I think yesterday we did the orientation. Everyone was via Zoom, and some people had their cameras hidden. So it's good to see faces here. Thanks for that. Thanks for coming in, and thank you, Stephen, for that great introduction. I appreciate that. And I just want to say a couple of things in regards to thank yous. Thank you to Judge KP George in Fort Bend County, along with his Commissioner's Court, for making this program possible. Thank you to President Carrie Schmidt, who is the president of the Fort Bend Chamber of Commerce, who's allowed us to use her facilities. She was here early this morning. We were here at 7 o'clock printing off handouts for you guys and making sure everything was set up. So I want to definitely thank Carrie for that. And just thank you to each of you for actually taking the time out to invest in your business and invest in knowledge and education, because that's really, really important. So again, I'm Dr. Sterling Carter, and let me see here. Okay, yeah, we're ready to go. Well, I'm going to go one forward and then one back. Okay, so again, I have a doctorate in physical therapy. I consider myself a serial entrepreneur. Stephen and I collectively own about 9 different businesses together, and a lot of those are based in Fort Bend County. My first business was in physical therapy. I'm a physical therapist, makes sense, right? So Sterling Physical Therapy and Wellness. So if you have any pain, you can come see me. We have a clinic in Sugarland, Bel Air, and Stafford. So offices there. We had one in Houston that shut down due to COVID. Actually, we just moved it. So I shouldn't say it's shut down. But Stephen and I are best-selling authors of Double Your Success, Principles to Build a $1 million business. So this was launched about, was it, Stephen, 2019? Mm-hmm. And it was a kind of a cool situation. We were running all these businesses and had some great awards we were acquiring, and Forbes they reached out to us and they said, hey, you guys seem to have a great story. We'd like to fly you out to Carolina to do a blueprint day. And so we flew out to Carolina, and we told them about our story, and they said, hey, you guys have a great story. We'd like for you guys to write a book. So the book it's a Forbes book. They have a publishing line, and it's a publishing line specifically for business owners. And so love for you guys to get a copy of that. And actually, I'm going to do a giveaway right now. So my first question we're getting started already, we're going to engage you guys, is when is our next class? When are we having our next class? Anyone? First person? Okay. I don't know who said it first. I saw. Well, I'll give it to Sandy, right? Nikki. I'm gonna get it right. So, and for you guys online chatting, we're gonna give you some opportunities to win some books as well. But just want to kind of get the juice going and make sure that you're listening and engaged. Okay. So now I'm gonna go back real quick to talk about what Stephen was saying. So Carter Brothers Consulting is our consulting firm. We have a holding company known as Cartera Health. We decided that we wanted to rebrand and message. We're going to talk about rebranding and marketing a little bit later on today to make a cohesive brand that everyone can kind of grab onto. So Cartera is really just our last name, Carter. We added an A. And so it's Cartera Health. And the circle of businesses around that are the business, I guess, descriptions are the type of businesses that we own. So just a little bit about that. And now let's get started with the fun stuff. Okay, so today's topic for the first hour is vision, and value statements. And as you guys know, all of the businesses that are part of this program are already in business. You're not startups. But what's really, really important for us to do is revisit these topics because what we know is that as our businesses mature and grow, our mission and values sometimes change. And what you'll see is that what you think you're aspiring to and you think that you're wanting in the very beginning may be completely different right now 3 to 5 years in. So what Stephen and I do on a consistent basis is we're constantly reevaluating and seeing how we need to change things, how we need to rebrand, how we need to change our vision statement, our values in line with what we really want. So a really, really easy way to remember this is your vision is the picture of what you want to be. It's what you want your company to be. And that's not what it is. It's what you want. It's what you aspire for your company to be. And we'll talk about some examples here, but some of the big companies, it's always an inspirational, life-changing goal for your company. And so that's your vision, is what you want. Your mission is actually how you're going to achieve that vision. So we're going to talk about creating a mission and vision and making sure that you're aligning this properly. But it's how you're going to accomplish your vision, and then your values are how you behave while you're accomplishing those things, right? So just think about vision is what you want, mission is what is how you're going to achieve it, and then your values is how you behave during that process. Just remember those three kind of key items.
Excuse me, Dr. Carter,
Yes.
are we allowed to ask questions as you go along, or do you want us to hold them?
Let's hold until the end. I think that'll probably be the best because I want to make sure we have time because the folks that are on virtually will only be able to chat. They can't ask questions. So we'll do it all at the end. But definitely take down your notes, your questions. Okay, so mission statement. Let's go into that a little bit specific, more specific. And let me say this, guys. There's a lot of different trains of thought in regards to which one you do first, the mission or the values. I really think that your values, your why, is where you should start. But we're going to talk about the mission statement, but keep in mind your overarching goal, what you're aspiring to do, is really where you should start. And then your mission, of course, is how you do that. So when you go through the mission statement, you're describing your business purpose. And so the questions you want to ask is why do we exist? What do we do and why? Who do we serve? And what are the benefits of our actions? So, and I can't read this. I'm going to pull on my readers here so we can read a couple of the things that some of these big companies that have some really, really great goals. And I still can't see it, but it looks like Apple is to challenge the status quo and to think differently. And Apple is one of those great companies that even their mission statement is somewhat like a vision statement. They really don't go very specifically in how they're going to do it, but they do. They say they're going to challenge the status quo and they're going to think differently. And when you think about Apple, that's what they're constantly doing. They're constantly innovating. They're constantly changing and doing things differently than every other industry out or every other computer company out there. So that's your mission statement. Vision statement. And I am going to blow this up on my end because I cannot see this to save my life. No, it's not going to let me blow it up. Okay, but let's go ahead and go into it. So vision statement describes what an organization seeks to create or become in the future. It is basically the realization of the mission and directs the business towards success. So for you guys that are online, you probably can actually see the actual vision statements for Nike, for Southwest, for Google. What you'll notice, and I can probably see it from here, is that a lot of them talk about world. To provide access to the world's information in one click, that's Google. Nike is to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. So when you're thinking about a vision statement, it's how you're going to affect the entire world, how you're going to affect the entire community. You want to think big and inspirational. Okay, core values. I love core values. This is really, really important because as we're moving and we're working towards our mission statement and our vision, we have to have something that our employees can actually follow. These are kind of the rules of engagement. These are the values. These are the things. This is the way you want your employees to behave in order to achieve your mission and your vision. And so those vision statements should be, you should have 4 to 6, no more than 6. Anything more than that, it's going to get too complicated. Your employees are not going to, they're not going to breathe it. They're not going to believe it. They're not going to engage in it. And it should be very short, clear, and compelling statement. So Google, which I love, has these are 6 values. Focus on the user. Fast is better than slow. You can be serious without a suit. Democracy on the web works. Doing one thing really, really well. Do the right thing, don't be evil. So there's so many companies out there that have great core values, but you want to have core values that your employees and everyone can live and breathe. And what Stephen and I do with our company, our companies, is that every time we have a staff meeting, we go through the core values. Every time we have a staff meeting, we talk about the mission statement. And then what I'll do is I'll ask my employees, okay, focus on the user. What does that mean to you? And then they actually give you a definition of what that value statement means to them. So now it's actually ingrained in them and they have their own definition of what it is. So it's really, really important, not for us just to write a value statement, vision statement, mission statement, but to actually utilize it to really just develop the culture within your company. Very, very important. Okay, so there's 7 steps to write a vision, mission, and value statement. And these are things that you can't do today, but we're still going to work on it today. But then we're going to talk to you kind of about the stuff that you want to do when you get back to your job or back to your company. You want to gather together your leadership. You want to get your leadership together so you guys can really start talking about, okay, what really are we good at? What do we really do? What's our purpose here? You want to identify an objective facilitator. It could be you, or it could be someone completely objective that can facilitate where they're not taking control and just putting their thoughts up there. They're actually listening to what everyone has to say. And you want to dream. This is your vision part. Everyone wants to be a part of that dream process to kind of come up with what's the overarching dream for the company. And then of course, sharing ideas, examining the statement and clarifying the mission. So again, we already have a statement. We already probably have a mission. Now what we're doing is we're looking at it, we're trying to clarify it, we're trying to make it a little bit better. A lot of times what you can do is really just removing one word here, one word there, or adding a word may make all the changes that you need. So it's just tweaking what you already have. And then clarify the mission, and then define organizational values, and that's your value statement. So those are the steps that you're wanting to do, and you want to basically do that with your leadership. But we're gonna work on it a little bit today. We talked about this already, having a very clear and compelling statement. And let's just talk about some of the benefits of that. So drawing people to common work, giving hope for a better future. Those are examples of clear vision statements. But some of the advantages are converting the broad dreams of your vision into more specific action-oriented terms, explaining your goals to interested parties in a clear and concise manner, enhancing your organization's image as being competent and professional, thus reassuring funding sources that your investment was a smart choice. So just a couple of examples, more than, and we actually already talked about a few others, but just really important to have a clear, concise statement that everyone can buy into. Okay, so our goal is to develop a mission statement, a vision statement, and a value statement. So the steps here are basically what we're going to do, but you actually have the steps in your handout. So, and for those that are virtually online, Kayla, our project manager, emailed those to you as well. So I want you guys to go ahead and pull out your mission statement. Actually, we'll go in reverse. Let's pull out your vision statement. So you should have two sheets. One that says vision and one that says mission. And what I'd like for us to do, we're doing great on time. I want us to spend about 5 to 7 minutes. I want you guys to really, really think about your vision statement. Think about what we talked about as far as this being something, how you're impacting your community or the entire world, what you want, what you're aspiring for your company to be. And if you already have a vision statement, that's great. Well, we want to just look at it, possibly tweak it. Remember, a vision statement is short and concise. So remember when we looked at the examples, and I'm on mission statement, but we're on vision. It's really just one sentence. So really, really try to take your vision statement and make it as concise, compelling, and just short as possible. So I'll go ahead and start the timer. And all of our guys on Zoom, I want you guys to work as well. And we're going to spend about 5 to 7 minutes working on our vision statement. Okay. So we've had about 5 minutes, and I think we fixed our technical difficulty over on the Zoom world. So hope you guys can see the full PowerPoint screen now versus the taskbar on the side. So let's just start with, and we're gonna get some chats going as well. Let's start with the first question on the vision statement worksheet, which is, what do we want our organization to look like? The culture, the ethos, the mood. Someone that is actually watching virtually, can you put in the chat, because you can only chat as a participant? Just let us know what your answer was for number one. Waiting. Okay, so Westling Greer says ethically, racially, sexually diverse environment where all people feel their voice and can be heard and is valued. Fast moving, innovative, bucking the status quo. I like it. I like it. Okay. And then Carmelo says Paws and Hall's mission is to provide the best quality pet services and trust to every customer. King says fun, enthusiastic, welcoming, consultative, customer needs focused. And then Jaswal says helps companies implement the best business practices and achieve their goals through interactions and system implementations. So thanks, guys. So it looks like some people have already just written their vision statement and just went past the vision worksheet, which is fine. So let's go with that, especially since we're short of time here. So someone here physically, do you guys want to read off your vision statement to us? Go ahead.
An organization of healing mind, body, and spirit.
I like it. I like it. Good job. And we'll give you a book for jumping out there and the first one and talk about your vision statement.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Next person gets a Coke Zero. No. Okay.
Create a community of trusted financial professionals who provide economic value to the community.
Excellent. And what kind of business do you have?
Insurance,
Insurance. What type of insurance?
health and life.
Health and life. Does anyone need health and life insurance?
Focusing on the business side.
Focusing on the business side. I like it. I like it. Excellent. Excellent. Very good job, guys. You got this down. Any questions on the vision statement before we move on? Makes sense?
I had a quick comment.
Yes.
So I was just going to share real quick. I come up here so the guys on Zoom can hear me as well. So what's really important about the vision and mission statement is that it should force the way we act on a daily basis, right? The way we manage our company, because as CEOs and founders of the company, we push the culture down. It starts at the top and it goes down, right? So everything that we do, it should be reinforced or should be driven from the mission, from the vision statement. And I hadn't shared with Sterling yesterday, but I made a hire just recently for one of our companies. And the person that I hired, although she was excellent on paper and she can do the tasks that we have for her to do, her personality may not fit well with our mission and vision statement, right? So sometimes you have someone, she's one of these, very powerful go-getter, but she's like a bull in a china closet kind of thing. And very, very forceful and strong. But, when we talk about our hospice company, right, the hospice space is a different space. You can't come in with that forceful, aggressive tactic, right? And we want our company, we wanted to come from a more spiritual and, uplifting and, gentle approach. And so although she's excellent at what she does and could do very well at maybe another company, that doesn't fit well with the vision of our company. So that's why this is so important, because it depicts how you interact from the top down. So I just wanted to share that quick example.
Great point. And question, yes.
My question is, y'all have several companies. So did you write a vision statement for each one of your companies? Or do you have a vision statement for the overall Carter Brothers Consulting LLP?
So we have a vision statement for the overall Cartera Health, which is now our new holding company. But to your point, in the very beginning, we had mission, vision, and value statements for every company, but it started getting really, really hard to manage. And so we're like, okay, how can we just put everything under one umbrella to make this a little bit easier to message, brand, and manage? And so that's what we did. And definitely something to consider as you grow. Okay, and let's see here. So Kayla sent out the presentation to everyone so that they have that. Alrighty, so we're going to go into our next kind of workshop, and we're going to knock out two at the same time. We're going to do the mission statement next, and we're going to do your values. So remember, your mission statement is how you're going to do what your vision is, right? It's how you it's what your business does and how it does that. And then your values are how you behave, how your employees are going to behave in order to achieve that mission that falls underneath the vision. So let's go ahead and do the mission and vision right now. We'll give you about another 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes, because I know you guys already have this. We just need to just kind of tweak it a little bit, and then we'll talk about those, and then we'll move on. Thank you. No, we don't have a value statement worksheet, but what I will do is I'll put the PowerPoint back up so you can see the screen that talks about the value statement. Okay. Okay, so you should have the 7 steps on your screen that talks about how to develop a value statement right there. Remember, your value statement is short bullet points, 4 to 6, no more than 6. There's some examples over to the left on the screen about core values. I'll tell you what I'll even do. I love, go, nope. I thought I had it on there. Google had some really good core values, but I think we talked about those already. So those are the steps. Okay. I'm going to stop share so I can actually see the comments over here on the side. Let's start with our virtual business participants. And anyone, let's go ahead and start with your mission statement. Definitely type in your mission statement. I'll read it off to the group. Let us know how you're going to accomplish your great vision. We want to hear about it. So Brandon says, our mission is to be a force for good by helping our clients implement cause marketing to achieve their community-centric goals. Excellent. So Brandon, what kind of business do you have? Tell us about that. While he's typing, anyone else that has their mission statement you want to share with us online in the chat box? So Brandon has a full stack marketing company, becausemarketing.net. So those who need full stack marketing, definitely check out Brandon. Okay. Muzz says to create a fun, warming, love and friendly karaoke experience for families and friends with exceptional customer service. So I guess they do karaoke, right? So that's pretty good. Well, that's awesome, Peter. We're always looking for something fun to do, especially during these times. So that sounds good. Let's see. Peter says our goal at Cookie Cutters Haircuts for Kids, Richmond, Texas, is to provide families with an amazing haircut experience. We strive to ensure that the experience is stress-free for parents and fun for kids. Excellent, excellent. Great job, guys. Okay, so let's jump right into our value statements. I love value statements. So we'll start with the folks in the room. Anybody want to give us their value statements for their company? Got a book here if you want to share.
I didn't make it to my bag.
Okay, I know it was pretty quick. We'll go over here.
I have relationships are the key to prosperity, which is developing relationships with individuals who are not only like you, it opens the doors and opportunity to go beyond your limits. Respecting the voices of those who listen, respecting the voices of others who listen, to be heard and received by more than your peers. Inclusivity includes you and I, which is bringing those individuals that are not like you into your own, so you can build it.
Okay, good. I would try to make those a little bit more short and concise. You can still have the explanation underneath, but just give them, maybe 1 or 2, 3 words that just really just define what you're saying. So, and then the next.
I have provides oral health care to all individuals, creates a safe and comfortable place to discuss any fears or concerns, creates time for excellent care and treatment on a highly individualized basis.
I love it. Very good. Very good. Good book. You already had one. Okay, excellent, guys. So we are just going to breeze through the rest of this. I think you'll have it, what we're doing in regards to vision, mission, and values. Great job. Good stuff. I'm going to go back to my presentation for the last couple of slides. We're almost there. Okay, so those were the steps for the value statement. So some examples of mission and vision statements, just for you to read through at your leisure. Everyone will have, if you don't already have a copy of the PowerPoint presentation, we're definitely going to share it with you. You'll also have a recording of come on in, Kyra, a recording of the actual entire Zoom class as well. So action grid, we always want to send you home with things to do. So this process that we did was a quick kind of a summary to get you guys an idea of what you're supposed to do. But you really remember we said you're going to meet with your leadership team and go through this process. It should take about 2 weeks to get through it. But our goal is for you guys to have an updated, improved mission, value, and vision statement and within the next 2 weeks. So your homework is to work on that and email your mission, value, and vision statements to your consultant so that they can take a look at it. Okay. So this shows you kind of what questions to ask during the phase. We'll go ahead and go to the next slide. So your action items, who is going to be involved, your planning teams, what your outcomes are, what tools you're going to use. It's all right here. Again, the estimated duration for the entire process is 2 weeks. We should have some really good quality content by the end of the 2 weeks. And that is it for me. And our next presenter just walked in the door, so this is super awesome. We're gonna take a break for a 5-minute break, Stephen.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll start back up. It's 8:50. Actually, we'll take about a 10-minute break.
Okay.
And we'll start up right at 9, so that those that are at home can take a break and come back as well. So.
Okay. So for those at home, 10-minute break. Make sure you don't end your Zoom call. Just keep it going. You can put it on mute and that sort of thing, and we'll see you in 10 minutes.
Okay, it is 9 a.m. Hello, hello, hello. We're gonna try to get started again. Thank you so much. I know y'all are having lively conversations and it's going well, and we love that. We love that everybody's networking, but we need to get back on track. We want to be respectful of everyone's time. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. So a great presentation from Dr. Carter earlier today, and I may be a bit biased, but that's okay. But some of the takeaways that I took away from his presentation is that we should start every meeting once we complete the mission and vision and the core values. Right, this really needs to be something that we own and we push down to our team. So I like the suggestion that Dr. Carter had about starting our meetings and reinforcing the mission and vision statement during the meeting, and then asking our employees, what does this mean to you? Like, what does your mission statement mean to you? So making sure that we're all engaged and we know what's going on. And I think that's critical for us to live and breathe our mission and vision statement every day with our team, so that we're reinforcing it. So if Nike thinks it's important, if Exxon thinks it's important to have a mission and vision statement, I would not take this lightly. Everyone does this for a reason. So it really is critical to the foundation of your business. So without further ado, I want to introduce our next speaker. So one of the things that I'll say is that I know that all of us as CEOs and founders of a company, we are all alpha males and alpha females. We are all lions and we know how to do it all ourselves. We typically don't have anyone that tells us what to do. We've been told no a million times, and we still started our business anyway. And so we're resilient and we know how to get things done. And sometimes that means that, again, people can't tell us what to do. And we talk about, Sterling and I talk about this a lot in our presentation, that everyone needs a coach. If Michael Jordan needed a coach, if Drew Brees needs a coach, if Tiger Woods needs a coach, if all the LeBron James, if all the best of the best that have ever done it in terms of professional sports, all have coaches, then that means that there's something important about having a coach. And I know that a lot of us this may be our first time sitting down with business coaches, with consultants, and having someone to tell us about our business. And sometimes it gets deep and dirty, and you kind of you uncover the ugly stuff. And it's an uncomfortable position to be in sometimes. When you're speaking with your one-on-one consultant, it's going to feel that way. But the next person that I have the pleasure of introducing is actually the Carter Brothers coach. So Kyra Hardwick is our coach, and she's been a part of our team for quite some time. And she's not only just our coach, she's actually the lead of our Cartera Health brand. So she sits as our chief operating officer for Cartera Health. So very excited about that. Helped us roll out the entire parent company position, but a phenomenal leader, phenomenal coach. I could say a lot about her, but she has been coaching in not just small business, but she provides coaching for larger Fortune 500 companies as well. Obviously an MBA in finance and business management, but just a phenomenal person in general. And it is my pleasure, I could go on, but to welcome Ms. Kyra Hardwick to the stage.
Wow.
Let me share the screen to get to your presentation.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's my pleasure. And I want to say this while he's setting me up. I haven't been in front of a live group more than like 3, which is my kids, in such a great time. And I'm in such a while, and I'm so excited. I thought about that this morning, and I thought, wow, people that will respond when you tell jokes and laugh and connect with you. And then of course you have the fantastic pleasure of working with the Carter brothers and really learning what it really means to bring it all together. And so I'm excited for Benton County business owners. I can't wait to meet you, and I'm hoping to be able to do that today. And of course, we're excited to be a part of the team. So we're going to jump in. We're going to talk strategic planning, and you'll learn a little bit about me throughout the process. I am going to slide. Listen, this is how it's going to go. So for all of my online viewers, the slides are the guide. I'm going to actually navigate.
So I'm going to share with you because this is what we do all day, right? This is what we do in our world. So I'm going to share with you. So take notes, be prepared to take notes. If you have your templates, go ahead and pull them out. I encourage you to start jotting as the ideas and the urge to actually implement prompt to you. So don't wait until you get home to do the work. Do the work now. I encourage you to do that. So just follow along with me. I'm going to stay in front of this podium. I'm going to stay put, I promise, and make sure that that you all get what you need. So let's dig in. Make sure I'm advancing properly here. Am I moving? Yeah, let's see.
There's a clicker.
Ah. All right, thank you. All right, let's go. So here's a little bit about me. One of the things I always like to say is if you're going to sit in a room, you should know who it is you're listening to. And you should also validate their credentials. You can also go to LinkedIn and look up the credentials. That's not just me, but anyone else that stands before you. Verify that they are who they say they are and that they have the content equity that they say they have, right? You want to make sure you are listening to someone that's an expert. We guarantee you in this program that is the case, but I challenge you to do that whenever you're sitting in a room and someone's before you, all right? So this is a bit of my bio. I have over 15 years experience in corporate America. I did 15 years hard time in corporate America, working for large organizations like General Motors Design and Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. I am from the Midwest, so any Midwesterners in here, you may hear that in my tone or text. But I do want you to know that one of the things that I think is most empowering is leaping into entrepreneurship. And so you all, as Stephen did reference, have the ability to do it your way. Do it your way in a way that really does drive you to drive profit, to drive energy around your business and to connect with others so they want to do business with you. And I would imagine that you're in this program because you identified that there is, let me make sure I've got my coordination here. Or no, that thing. One moment, guys. I may need some tech assistance, Sterling.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I'm covering up anything.
What are you trying to do?
Just advance. Let's see if it goes.
Okay, we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. You can just
Okay.
hit there. No?
All right, we're getting
Okay.
it.
Okay.
So was that here?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I used when I did my presentation.
Okay.
I just did it the old-fashioned way.
All right, wonderful. All right, and this is a little bit more. One of the things that you're going to hear me say often, especially in this conversation, is really understanding your people, your process, and your profitability model. It's key to understanding your strategic planning process and what's important to you, right? So that may not be on your sheet, but write it down. People, process, profitability. People are your resources, right? Your profitability, that's the outcome that you want at the end. The process is how you get there. And today what we're going to talk about is the strategic planning process. So what are what is the most important piece, right? And why is this a necessity, right? What is it and why is it a necessity? So when you're thinking about leaping into your next year, we're at the halfway point, right? Into the next year. This is when, in my opinion, the leaders need to be in front of their business for the next year. This is July. So you should be at a pivotal point in your business where you're saying, what is it that I want to see for next year, right? This year technically should be fully planned out. At this point, you're ready and ramping up for next year. In our business, I'll give you a practice that we use. I ramp up starting in July. So we are going hard right now for 2022. In October, I solidify the plan. This is my theory. And then in January, we take off. So the team knows 90 days in advance what's to come January. We're not starting in January. We're starting now. So you stay in front of your business. You're the strategic leaders. You're the elevated leader. You're the CEO. Yes, all CEOs in this room, all CEOs online, you are in charge. You are in front. They are leaning on you to have the insight. All right. So this is what it takes. You really want to look at how to really start the conversation, right? What is it? What is a strategic plan? How do we get that conversation started? And so part of it is to assess where you are today. Where am I? Where are we as a business? Where are we as a business? We're going to walk through this. You're going to build that strategic framework. Strategic is a big word for all the pieces. It's the ingredients, right? The strategic components are the ingredients inside your business. And then you're going to also walk through the process of developing the strategy and the plan. The plan has a timeline, it has resources associated with it, right? It has some deliverables associated with it. It may have new client acquisition plans associated with it, new products and services associated with it. When do you want to bring those online? When does it make sense, right? We can get into the details of it, but sometimes it's as simple as saying, let's just say, let me give you an example as we're simplifying this process for you. Let's just say that you decided, you know what, I want to bring a new product on board. All right. Let's say you want to do that come end of the year, you want to launch a new product. If I want to bring a new product on board, how do I do that? Well, I've got to market it, right? I've got to figure out if it works. What's the the R&D, the research and development that I need to do? Have I done the market research? So you start going through this litany of questions as a leader to say, have I done my due diligence? And sometimes that'll make you feel like you're all over the place. Well, here's the key. When you put it inside of a plan, you actually simplify it for yourself. So what do I get out of that? Oh, I can back it up. I can say, oh, if I want to launch on this date, then I need to start my marketing plan on this date. If I need to start my marketing plan on this date, I need to do my research ahead of that, right? I need to understand if my customers even want or need that, right? Is it profitable? We want to look at all of those elements. And so now, how many of you all have gone through that cycle in your head at times? Yes? Gone through that cycle in your head? You can do it now through the strategic planning process. And so I'm going to show you this for planning your overall business, but I want you to know you can get all the way down to the micro level and really map this out for every single new product, service, concept, idea that you want to roll out in your business. This is a rinse and repeat tool. This is a rinse and repeat tool. Okay. All right. Very good. So let's talk about it. I've kind of gone through why it's important, right? So if you're taking a snapshot of the screen, if you're going to reflect back on this later. So it generates efficiency, right? Because it circles around performance. How am I going to perform? Performance is the measurement, right? That's how you can determine whether or not you'll get a little profit on the other side of it or a lot of profit on the other side of it, right? And then it helps you to also define what we're doing. What are you going to do for the next year, the next 12 months? Right? Has anyone started the planning process? If you have, if you can pop it in the chat, have you started the planning process? Raise your hand. Yes, we started our planning process. Fantastic. And are you starting your planning process for 2022? Fantastic. That's great news. That's great news. And you also want to gain a clear understanding of roles and responsibilities in the strategic planning process, right? Your resources, not just money, but time and people, right? You may also call them assets. But sometimes it's not the people in your circle or in your business today. It may be others that you need to access, right? And I'll drop this out there for you as well. Collaboration is one of your greatest assets. So if you can't do it or your team can't do it, can you leverage other assets to get it done? So when you start to think about your strategic plan, I'm really just trying to give you guys some real foundational leadership nuggets. When you think about your strategic plan, don't limit it to what you or your existing team can do. Your plan is so that you can put a plan together for growth, for action, right? For the new, right? For what's to come. Think about what other resources you need to access, right? Think about that, not just you. The answer to who doesn't have to be you. When I heard that, that was just like the sky opened up for me, right? Because we typically plan based on what we have the capacity to do, or what we plus our 3 or our 5 or our 10 can do. But let's think about this. If you really want to grow, that first limitation when we start to scale is we cut off the growth path based on what we know today. And this is about what we want for tomorrow. Does that make sense? All right. So I always look at it like this: go big first, and then you scale back second. All right. So put the big dream on the plan. And then you start to scale based on feasibility. That's time and resources, et cetera. All right. So that's why it's important. These are the elements. We just talked through these, right? Your goals. What are we doing? Let's get really clear. Let's get really smart. You all have heard that, right? So a SMART goal: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. That is how we determine the quality of our goal. If you cannot qualify your goal, go back, revise your goal. Elevate your thinking a little bit so that your goal is broad enough and specific enough, right? You have that first challenge. How many of you all have team members that report directly to you? You have staff. Yes, staff, contractors, direct employees, etc. They need vision from you. You need to stay at a minimum 90 days ahead. 90 days ahead. If you're not 90 days ahead, you're behind. 90 days out. That's a quarter. It's 12 weeks. I guarantee you, you practice that in your business and you stay 90 days ahead. When it's time for strategic planning, you're going to be already there because you're going to be ahead 90 days. So you're looking forward, you're talking and having conversations and collaborating with others and even building in implementation components inside your business. Maybe it's a survey. Let's find out what our customers want for next year. Let's find out what they want for the next season. If you're a products-based business, what's the next technology we need to consider or adopt, right? What are my technology woes? I need to plan ahead. I need to get ahead of it. So think about that. So what are the goals? What is the budget? What's the financial implication to this big dream you have, to this next phase of growth, to this elevation in your business? What is it going to take to get us there? How much? And I will tell you, get down to what you want your gross profit to be and qualify what you want your margins to be. What is the percentage? If you don't know the average market rate or if you don't know the average gross profit margin in your industry, you need to know it. You need to know it. In consulting, the average rate is between 57 and 80% margin. Margin means profit. The cost to do business in this field is just under 40%. That's an incredible margin, right? It's an incredible margin. At times you can get it down to 20% cost to do business. It's my cost of doing business. How do you get there? Efficiencies, right? What is it in your market? It's not the same, right? Some service-based markets are different. Product-based markets are different. The average runs about 25%. If you're making about 25% for every transaction or every sale or every dollar, you're doing good. But you could be doing better or optimized if you know what your real market is, your real market range is. So you need to search that. That's a searchable figure. And then you need to perfect it for your company. What's the name of your company?
Houston Life Ventures.
We need to know exactly what Houston Life Ventures, what your market is in your industry. Make sense? So get down to the details. That's your obligation to know those dirty details. All right. And then that's how you can really determine if your strategic plan is feasible. So as you're making that goal, you're writing that goal, can you do that? And sometimes you lose money on the front end, but if you can project where you're going to start to break even and then where your margin's going to come in and it makes sense and your business can stand that, that's where you're winning. That's where you're winning. So if you can say, okay, well, ramp up is going to be about 30 days on this product. So I may not start making money until about, 3 months in. Right? Because I'm going to break even and we're going to make some mistakes. We're going to have some customer issues. Okay, now we got it. Do you have enough money to withstand that kind of impact to your business? It's the cost of adding a new product or a service. Can you stand it? Those are things you have to be able to answer in your business. Because when it starts to happen and you immediately said in month 1, we're going to make 25% on it. And you're like, we made 7%. Somebody's got to go. I got to fire somebody. I can't hold all these resources up. We can't do this. Let's go back and look at your plan. Were you reasonable in your strategic planning? All elements, I just want you to take them. I don't want you to ride the wave with them. I want you to know these are the things that will really get you over the hump. They'll keep you from being impulsive. Strategic planning is, to me, it is my guide. I lead with it at all times. And ask anybody that works with me, do you have a strategic plan? When I hear someone say, I'm all over the place, where's your plan? I go straight for it. Straight for it. It's an essential, right? It's like coming to math class without a book. Where's your book? We can't do this, right? We need the examples. We need the guide. We need the tools. We need the example questions in order to determine whether or not we know the formula, right? All right. Expectations, responsibilities, and objectives and key results. What are they? You need to be able to classify and clarify inside your strategic plan what you want to accomplish. Don't you dare put a plan out there and you don't know what you want the goals to be on the other side of that thing, right? And so understand the expectations. Be able to clearly communicate that to your team You need to know them first. Leader always goes first, right? We sit in a dark, lonely room and figure it out first, right? And then we bring it to our teams. And then we bring it to our customers. Then we bring it to the market at full mass because we got it. And I'm confident. And if I don't, I can go back to my plan that is well organized and well written, and I can readjust. You can readjust. You're in charge, you can readjust. But if you don't know where to readjust because you don't have a plan, you could scrap the whole thing and have to start from scratch, or you could miss out on an opportunity to be first to market on something. Have you ever been first to market on something? You're like, there is no roadmap for this thing. Who knows how to do this, right? That's a scary space, but if you have a plan, you actually can go back and evaluate where you went well and where you needed to make some adjustments, right? Where things went well, where you need to adjust. All right. So let's talk about the elements, and I have been kind of weaving this in. So timelines. A timeline is essential. When are we going to get it done? Or how much time do I need to get it done? How much time do I have to get it done, right? It's important to understand what that measurement is. So when I gave you that first qualifier, which is start 90 days out, you're already giving yourself what? A cushion, right? To figure it out. So you're taking the pressure off, lowering the threat. A timeline allows you to lower that threat. You can get the goals done. You can meet the deadlines. How many of you all engage project management software or tools that help you keep track of all of the things going on in your business? I see a head nod, hands raised. Yes. No, I see deer in headlights. I see that scary look like, oh my God, what is a project management tool? Does that mean I've got to learn something new? It does. To be more successful, you want to make sure you're keeping track of everything. How many of you all are relying on a notebook to manage your daily operations? The scary pen is being raised, not all the way, but to the chin. Okay, it's the confession of the CEO right now. So for all of us using notebooks, I'm excited about it. And you have a catalog of notebooks. You probably labeled them, the spine of them, A to Z. You have the dates and everything. You know how to go back and flip to find that information. I'm reading it. I'm reading your mail, as the preachers would say. Well, here's the deal. That's great. It's great. As soon as you write it and you close that notebook and you get to the last page, it's called historical data. All right, let's elevate a little bit. I'm going to challenge you. So if you're like me, trust me, I have at least 175 historical data notebooks at my home. If anyone touches them, they may lose fingers because there are ideas in there that I cannot search. I have to go back page by page to find. However, there are tools out there that can rescue us. Okay. I want us to elevate. I want us to use a resource. I want us to pay for a subscription. Just squeeze it out of your budget. It is worth it. It is worth it. Here's my only caveat to that. No matter where you put your data, make sure that you own the parent data, right? So if I use a tool and I put all my information in the tool, all right, you need on somewhere on your computer, you need to own the master data, whether you download monthly, weekly, what have you, because if that software company decides that today's the day they're going to go and merge with another company, and by the way, we're taking all of your information and you've got to re-sign up and do all these other things, or you lose it altogether, or they go out of business, they can't own it, right? They can't be the sole owner of your data. So don't go relying on a tool completely, but that's a great communication tool. It's an accountability tool. Download from the tool consistently though. Have a place, a reservoir on a drive somewhere, right? A shared drive, whatever you use, and house that parent data there, okay? Because if all of your strategic planning details are in that software, you want to be able to access it if the software is unavailable, right? That is an obligation that you have to yourself. That's your control mechanism, all right? So timelines, tools, right? What tools do you need? So you all have a template, right? You have a template, you have a handout in front of you, you have a digital copy or soft copy if you are online. Make sure that you maximize utilization of the tool. The tools are here as a guide, right? And so not only do you want to make sure that you map it out first, right? Before you go public with this plan, you need to see it on paper, right? It sounds good in the head sometimes. Let's see it on paper. And then I want you to really think about how you want to display it to your people? How do you want to explain it to them? How do you want to provide them with this information? Well, there are a couple of different methods. We're going to go through that, but I want you to be thoughtful about it, right? You know your people, you know your customer. I mean, you know your clients, and you know how it needs to translate. This strategic plan and your annual planning is not something that you would typically put in front of your clients, but you do want to reference it. So if you're in a meeting and you go to it, you want to make sure it looks good and polished too, right? All right. And then you want to also, and I just, I know you guys just got this beautiful course on your value and your mission statement. That's important because everything you do should link right back to your mission, vision, and your values. If you find that you are in some way saying yes to tasks, opportunities, projects, money that does not align with your mission, vision, and values, that is a gut check to the CEO. You need to figure out where you went wrong, where you push the compromise button. And I'll challenge you there. Because typically when we go outside of the things that are external to our business, that are external to the real focus of our business, that's where we have the challenges. How many of you have said yes to customers that you should have said no to? Yep. Pain point. How bad did it hurt? Yeah, a lot. Unquantifiable. That hurt, right? Cost you money, time, energy, sleep, effort, right? It might have cost you a team member, right? How many of you have made bad hires? Felt good? Yeah. Those are all decisions you need to make, but make them qualified. So if you have a strategic plan, be clear about what the business needs, not what your emotions need. How many of you all have made some emotional decisions? We do that, right? As business owners. Why do we do this, right? It's our money. When we were in corporate America, we weren't as emotional about these decisions, were we?
No.
Right? Confessions. But somehow in this process, we kind of let caution go to the wind and our emotions become very, very prevalent. So how do we get past that? All right. Understanding your vision is critical. Moving through this, your contingency plan. What happens when what we plan doesn't go well or it doesn't turn out right? Having a contingency plan is just as important. We all went through an important time and period in history, right? Over the last several really year plus, right? We went through a very important time. It taught us a lot of lessons. It also taught us and showed us where our blind spots were. If you had a strategic plan in place, you could go back and see where you needed to start when the world shifted on us and we had to make adjustments. But if you didn't have that plan, you might have found yourself up late at night trying to figure this thing out. I will tell you, one of the saving graces is we had a plan. We lost 50% of our client roster like instantly. I didn't have time to cry. I had to go to that strategic plan and I went back to 19 and I said, what was the original plan for 20? And that's where we started. And that's where we have landed. So we literally probably accelerated past our 2020 plan into our 2022 plan because our goal for 20 was to get where we got in almost the first 6 months of 2020 because we had so much time to work it out, right? So we went back to the plan, we accelerated the plan. All we could do was activate. We knew it was going to work, but it was scary because I didn't know what everybody else was feeling, right? Because in order for my business to grow, other people have to be willing and ready to grow too. In order for me to take advantage of opportunities, we've got to be ready to do that. Having a strategic plan let me know where I could go back, pull from, what assets, what resources, what hires I needed. Job descriptions were already there, right? You start hiring people. How many people do I need? I need this many people to do this. Do I have resources? Let's figure it out. So when resources became available, when we took advantage of them, we understood what we were going to do with the money. How many of you all received revenue and you were like, you received dollars related to the impact and you were like, I don't even know what to do with this money. But you knew you needed it. You just didn't know what to do. Let's be honest. If you had a strategic plan, you could align and be sure that you're making good decisions, not emotional ones. All right, leaders. All right, so here we go. Let's get into it. So this is a strategic plan, kind of the overview of what it looks like, right? It's the process of documenting and establishing the direction for your business. So looking at what we'll call this triangle, similar to like a Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? At the bottom, the basics. We need to understand the individual goals and actions. What is everyone supposed to be doing and how are they supposed to be doing it? And what is the goal that we're trying to reach? And then we start moving up the chain inside of our business, right? So what is the departmental goals? Depending on how your business is outlined or laid out, whatever that hierarchy is, you can pretty much gauge how you need to define those layers. But I want you to think about them in layers. So what are your annual goals? What is it that we want to accomplish in the next year? And for those of you that are on a different fiscal year, then you set from your fiscal start to your fiscal end, all right? From those of you that said, you know what, I'm gonna start as of today and go through July, that's your year as well. It's not your financial year, it's your planning year, all right? So you have the autonomy based on your business cycle. If you're in education, you may work through the school year cycle, right? You may not work through a regular January to December year because your program year is different and your revenue generation time is different. The next level is your strategies and your long-term and short-term objectives. And I'm adding short-term there, but what are those objectives? What are the objectives? Understanding the elements. So if your people understand at the end of the day what we're gonna do, then that means that vision at the top that you cast really did cascade well through your organization down to the actual doer of the task. That's what you wanna see. That vision at the top, that's you. That's you casting the vision. And then once you've casted that vision, it's gotten all the way down to the doer, to the tactical. Did you communicate well? Were you clear? Did you review it? Did you get 90 days ahead of it so you could really assess it and see if it was going to work? Let's get into the benefits of formulating. And I think I've probably covered this, but we're going to dig in just so you can have a practical view of it, right? Let's get these logical and systematic approaches down. This is often the most important benefit. Some studies show that strategic planning the strategic planning process itself makes a significant contribution to improving a company's overall performance. If you could predict, just like how many of you forecast your finances? Yes, you know how much you're supposed to make by the end of this quarter?
No.
You don't?
No, but I'm sorry, maybe I misunderstood your question.
That's okay. So forecasting your finances, meaning how much money we're projected to make quarter by quarter or annually. It's all a part of the same process. How much money you're supposed to make. So we're in Q3. By the time we get to the end of Q3, you should understand exactly what your business should generate in revenue by the end of this quarter, right? By the end of the 12-week period. If you don't know that, we can talk through it, but that is something you should know. And in order for you to really understand that, that's why the process is important, right? All right, so let's get through it. Enhancing your communication between your employees and you, the employer, whether they're contract, whether they're direct, whether they're your vendors. Can you thoroughly and efficiently communicate the vision? Remember, you're at the top. Can you cascade down to the doer at whatever level, right? How many of you all have a right-hand person, kind of that your next in line, your ops person? Yes? No? How many of you all need an ops person, someone to help you run your operations? Yes, head nods, in agreement. All right, got it. That person should clearly understand your vision. They should be able to really be your quarterback, right? That person should be able to block and tackle for you so you, CEO, can go do the great things that you do. You're the best salesperson for the business. You're the most important employee of the business, right? You know the finances and can go out and really scope the financial capital that you need for the business. You know how to build your allies in the market. That person, that next in line person, should be able to understand what you would do in a scenario and really support you there. They should be able to block and tackle for you, answer tough questions, see your blind spots. We all have them. I am a very visionary leader. My right-hand person is tactical and to the point. The reason why we have an efficient project plan is because she does not play with me. I told them all of my staff meeting Thursday and they laughed at me because they were getting on me about getting down to the details and making sure I gave them some dates. And I just looked at them and I said, you're all getting on my nerves. All of you. And they were like, that's okay. That's what you pay us for. I was like, you're right. Let's go. That's the hard conversation. Sometimes I want to stay in my vision. Can y'all just pick up the vision while I float through the air here? Like, I want to just tell you how amazing it's going to work. I already know. I'm already 90 days ahead. Trust me, I got a plan. But they're like, we need the details, right? They can't function without the details, because in 90 days, you know who's coming back to say, where are we on this, right? Did you get this done? I'm coming back because I know exactly what I asked for. And they're like, we know your style. So we need the details. Is it making sense? Are the essentials for a strategic plan making sense for you all? Is sort of. Okay, tell me where I can clarify.
Well, when you had the pyramid up a few minutes ago, I wasn't real clear why the individual goals and actions was the base of the pyramid and the vision was not the base of the pyramid.
Very good. So in the hierarchy of needs, the top, true story, that's a good question. You could flip it if you wanted to, but at the top, right, it's the most narrow. So let's think about how many people sit at the top of your organization. How many people are at the top of your organization? Yeah. So you bring the vision. You're the visionary. It's your responsibility to cascade your vision, which then you can say your strategic plan, down to the next layers. So does your vision fall in line with the mission and vision? With the mission and the values?
Okay.
That's the question you're going to answer. So you have a vision for your company, right?
Yes.
Does it align with your mission and your values?
I don't know.
So we need to look at that. That's a great assessment. That's a great assessment. So think about it like this. We'll call that really, that's a link in our chain that we need to shore up, right? Because if your vision doesn't align with the mission and the values, that's a full stop right there. We stop. Because there's no way you're going to be able to clearly communicate down to the task or whoever's doing the task, if it's not you, how to get it done and how to measure it. So your success at the end of the day, let me go back. People, process, profitability. Can you all be visionary with me right now? So if at the top of this pyramid were the people, right? People is at the top.
Okay.
Process is in the middle. How do we do it? The how do we do it is driven by what we believe, what we've committed to, and what we focus on in terms of the processes, the policies in our company. Yes?
Okay.
And then the profitability, that's at the bottom.
Okay.
At the end of the day, that's what's running across the widest range of the organization. That's how we keep going, right? So I just wanted you to visualize it differently with me. So if you think about that, at the top of the iceberg is you. At the top of this pyramid is you, leader. You are the first person in this equation that can determine where this company is going to go. You determine the name of your company, right?
Yes.
You determine the what you're going to do, a product, service, what you're selling, what industry you're going to be in. Did you determine all of that?
Yes.
All right. That's you. You're the visionary. You're the caster. I can't move. If I was to come and work inside your business, I'm going to ask you, what's the vision? When you communicate that with me, I'm going to go down this chain. Let me take a look at your mission and see if we're in alignment. Let's look at the values that we're upholding. Your values also look like your culture. All right. And so does the organization that you've created fit this outcome that you said you wanted? Your vision is your outcome that you said you wanted. And now we just go more and more tactical down to getting it done. Am I making sense? All right, we're getting down. So how do we start to qualify that and quantify it? Annual goals. How many of you, when you started your business, created a business plan? Was it exciting? No. I'm going to take a sip of water on that one. It wasn't exciting. Why? Ooh, a lot of unknowns. Why else? Hard doing it by yourself. Dark, wet room, right? It's like a basement. You and that computer. What else?
I didn't know what I was doing.
Didn't know what I was doing. Anything else? Too optimistic. Are you a visionary? Never too optimistic. Never. Trust me on it. Yes. So what does that mean? Really? Do you like to write narratives about numbers? Ooh.
But just to think, I'm a numbers
Yeah. And it's really, here's a gift. What's your name?
Stephanie.
Stephanie. Can I give you a gift wrapped in these words? You're a numbers person, lead with numbers and write a narrative about the numbers. That's it. You can write your business plan and lead with the numbers, right? And think about it like writing a narrative. That's it. And when you take that, right? Because in her mind, that's a block. How many of you are like, I'm not a people person? Tough world you live in. I'm a numbers person. We just convert that into a gift. We just make that your strength. We write to your strength. How many of you all are not numbers people? Stephanie, look at your clients all over the room, okay? They're all over the room. See how that worked? You're welcome. Business Development 101. You're welcome. Did I answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Wonderful. So let's keep going. Let's talk about it. So I've really started drilling this in. So this is really for you to apply, take notes, and start thinking about it for your business. How long does it take? Right? That business plan conversation, you're like, it was a long process. I didn't know what to put in there, right? Because you were just starting and somebody gave you a stack that was like this thick and they were like, can you fill this out so we can determine if you're bankable? Like, no, that's the answer. No. But you do it. But in that business plan, can I tell you what you gave yourself? If you did a business plan, if you haven't, you can do some versions of it in your planning. You understood then your marketing strategy. Your executive summary was clear. That's your first sales pitch. What is your business? How will it serve the world and your market? Right? That was the first thing that's the last thing you wrote after you wrote your business plan. If you did it right, you wrote your executive summary last. And then you talked about your products, your services, your prices, who your competitors are, who they're not, what you do that's different. What's your brand differentiator? All that sound familiar in your business plan? That's pulling out the thing that prompted you to say yes to a business, right? Stephen spoke earlier. He said a lot of people tell him, no, don't start this business, right? They did it anyway, right? And today they're literally running a conglomerate of organizations, all in the same industry. But they have cornered a market, right? But if I was to go back and say, and I have, why are we doing this? I have justifiable reasons. What's the market look like for this? Right? Do we have enough? Can we sustain the onboarding of a new business financially? We'll have those tough questions. Why do we have those tough conversations? Because we want to understand whether or not the yes is strong enough to support us when the actual client service issues start hitting us in the face, when the revenue conversations start coming up. If your yes is not big enough as to why you started your business, then all of the reasons why not will start to take you down at your knees. And the way you support yourself is a business plan and a strategic plan. That's how you build your strength. I can speak to my plan. If you don't know your business plan, then I can't create a business. Then I need to create a strategic plan for, because I don't have a business structured already. Does that make sense? There's not a fast path through this. There's no fast path. And I always say I work on the dirty side of the business, which is operations. It's like the dirty side of the storm. Nobody wants, it's the guts of the business. It's the people, the process, the profitability, the right people in the right place, doing the processes that make sense. And when you pull the lever down, it's like the casino. Money comes out at the end. People, process, profitability. Strategic plan has people, has a process, has a profitability model built in. It's a timeline. At the end of that timeline, the things that you said should happen, should happen. Making sense? I want you all to grasp the value of it, right? It's okay to get the formula, but I want you to understand the value. Yes?
Yes.
One hire can change your gross profit by 25, 30% instantly. Placed in the right position, doing the right job, right? Trained. Ooh, how many of you all have training programs inside your business? Ooh, it's painful. Yes? One of few. Okay, two. All right. We train our people. How many of you all think they're just supposed to know what to do when they come on board? Yeah. Like you talked to them, they read your eye, they read, like you're telling me now what my job is, aren't you? I know you are. He's giving me a visual job description, like it's like telepathic. Doesn't happen. And that's where we get into an issue and we start clinking up our strategic plan because our process and our timing is going to be off because we didn't do what? The due diligence on the front end to get it done. I'm going to pause my share just to make sure we're set online. Is that an issue or is that okay?
No, I think when you pull it down, Ashley's our next panelist. So I think you need to unpin her. Because now she's showing up instead. Oh, you're there too.
Mm-hmm.
Let's I need to pull her down. Because I can see.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think we're okay. You just when you share your screen again, then you'll come. There.
Okay, we'll be good. I'm gonna take a moment to take a look at what's in the chat here. Seeing some great comments here. And someone's asking for, examples of software tools and all that good stuff. And we can provide them with a list of tools.
Absolutely.
Okay, wonderful.
Can you talk about Monday.com real quick?
I can. I can. So Monday.com, literally the word Monday.com is the tool, and that's a project management tool. And you can use different templates. It's a way for you to guide your business projects, anything you've got going on in the business. And there are different ways for you to formulate it. So for the question about tools, Monday is a tool that we use in our business. We use that to literally put every single task, the due dates, the owners, and any comments and updates on it inside of the task. I'm doing no justice here. So let me ask you this. Monday is a great tool, but we have an operations meeting, and that's when we come together to verify our status, right? I have access, I can go in and put in updates and things of that nature. It is a project management software tool. It also has templates that are designed for you to utilize as a CRM, a customer relationship management tool. It also has a sales pipeline tool in there, a template that you can use, and there are several other templates that you can pull in. It integrates across different platforms. You can pull it into different software tools that you're already using. You can integrate, other tools that you have. But Monday is literally a project management tool. That's it. It's easy to use, guys. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not a fan of complex tools. I need it simple, because I don't want any barriers to being able to get it done. I have an app on my phone. You go in, you can name the project, right? You can name your tasks. You identify who the owners are. Their little faces will pop up in a bubble. You know who owns it without a question. There's a deadline and a due date. And then you can actually put the comments. You can flag it where it's at in the process. You can do red, yellow, green. You can use different names that are native to your company, or different phrases that are native to your company based on how you all manage your products or your projects, excuse me. You can use it for tasks, product launches. We're literally using it for projects, pure projects, our corporate projects. We're using it for product launches, okay? We're also using it for program management for our clients. So we have consultants that are working with specific clients. We're putting all their tasks in there so that I can have oversight of their project. I'm not at their client site with them, but I can oversee what they're doing and keep status. So when I have a check-in with the client, which is my client, they're working on, right? Then I can go in and say, okay, here's where we are. Are we meeting your needs? Are we on track and on time with the deliverables? So I literally can move around with that tool. So that is a micro version of how we're managing the strategic plan, right? It's also a great way, my administrator and we use it, and that's just our task board. So she uses it as a task board for she and I. So she gets on calls with me and I'm like, I'm running through all these things. She's loading them in, she's putting dates, tasks, and before they become a project, she's executing on them to determine if they need to go to a project board or if we can just knock it out. That's how we work. But that's a great tool to use. Try using it first to manage yourself before you get excited and roll it out to your team. If you're not keen to tools, try it first. Discipline yourself. This is not the first piece of software or software that we bought that I've wasted money on. I refuse to waste money this time. But I've paid and still paying for software that I don't fully utilize. Yes, we're all victims of our own success, right? Don't do that. Fully utilize the tool. It has plugins, all these things. I'm going on a tangent, but I want you to maximize it if you're going to use it. And use one good one, right? Use one great tool. You can put links and all kinds of stuff in there, but Monday is what we use. And Monday is a new tool that we integrated in Cartera Health. So we have all the companies, right? That now the Carter brothers have oversight of what's happening across all the companies. So if they're not in the operations meeting, they don't have to be, they can see status. Does that make sense? It's an accountability tool as well. All right, and I see some other comments about not knowing where to start, afraid I may be missing some steps, important information. Please make sure that if you are, in this session, soak it up, go back, take another look at it. It's hard to process it all at one time. I see another companion that's a numbers person, just so you know, there are more. And someone has a POS system in place. That's awesome, 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 awesome. We're going to get into the categories for your strategic plan in just a second in our last 10 minutes. And then someone is using Troll and Asana. Those are also project management tools. Thank you for sharing that resource with us. And Trello. All right, Trello and Asana. Great resources. I have some of my vendors that use Trello, and I'm on their Trello boards. Those are really cool to use. And they keep you in line. And so you may be using something that your client or your vendor is using. Use that, learn their tool, but be native to yours. Make sure you're a master of your own tools first. All right, so here are the categories. Take a quick snapshot of this. I do encourage you to do that. And also, let me just see if I can change the view. Okay, I think we're both pinned. Yeah.
Right click on hers and it should be able to.
Okay, let's see.
Her. Yeah, there you go. Click. And, no,
She's not pinned.
So she's a panelist, which is why she
popped
comes
up.
But she's not, as long as she's not pinned, then you're
good.
Primary.
Okay, just want to make sure everybody can see. So we're excited about your next panelist. Ashley Smalls is amazing. So I'm excited about who you guys are going to meet next. But here are the phases, right? Phase duration, 1 to 2 weeks, 1 hour meeting with the CEO and strategy director and facilitator if necessary to discuss information collected and direction for the continued strategic planning. So when I get into the space of starting the strategic planning process, who needs to be at the table? Well, you need to be there. And then you need to think about who those other 2, maybe 3 people are, right? The more people at the table, the more ideas. And if you're not sure about your ideas and your vision, you're going to have a little confusion. So I'm going to challenge you to bring the right people to the table, not just the people that are going to say yes to you. That's a no-no. You need those that are going to rub you like sandpaper and create the iron that you are. Yes, ma'am.
Your planning team does not have to be employees or contractors.
It does not.
People that you're bringing to the table.
Mm-hmm.
To help.
That's correct. And it can be people that understand your business. Okay. And then what questions to ask? Here we go, right? Who is on the team? Who will be the business process owner? We just talked about that project plan. Who owns it? Someone has to own it. The answer to who does not have to be who. Exactly. And fast forward 12 months from now, what do you want to see differently in your organization because of embarking on this initiative? Be clear about the vision and the outcomes you want in your strategic plan. I'm going to jump over to the grid. So take a look at the categories on the grid. The actions, they're listed there on your left, right? Who's involved? And then the tools you need. I'm going to talk really quickly about the tools and the kickoff meeting. Strategic planning is a formal process. You do the first pass and outline by yourself. I'm going to challenge you there. Then you bring that to the party so that you're not coming in there developing the bones of the plan. Okay. You build on that with your team and plan for a strategic planning session. That is, if you're going to do it in one day, we typically plan for about an 8-hour day. If you're going to do it in settings, then you start the kickoff. Then you can have folks go away with tasks, have them come back with their outcomes. And then you're going to review. Plan to go all the way through the process. Do not shortcut the process. It is a flow. Do it if you can in a week span. The more time you put in there, the more distance you put in there to relevancy of the goals, the objectives, etc. Make sense? These are the steps. Determining the organization's readiness. Develop your team and your schedule. And know your current data. Where are you? Remember, that was the first thing we were going to do. Assess where we are today. Our money, our people, our products, our services. What are our clients saying? What's our pipeline look like? You need all of those essentials. If you have a strategic plan or your original business plan, bring that to the table. We're going back. Collect that mission and vision statement. Am I following through the plan? You need your financial records. How many of you all at the click of a mouse can tap into your finances? Yeah. Yes. I see two head nods. That's a really important conversation. Click of a mouse. I need you to be able to get to your numbers. Do you have a marketing plan? That is a part of your strategic planning process. Marketing is not an outlier. It is a part of the process. If you know your numbers, know your marketing strategy. How will people find you? How will they come to you? How will they refer to you? How will you market? All right. And then review the data that's been collected. What trends do you see? Right? What does that look like? Take a look at it. Having those extra eyes at the table help you get through kind of those unknowns, right? Help you see things you don't see, help you see trends you don't see. And then this is the procedure. We've talked through this. I encourage you to snapshot this image.
And I think Kayla also emailed a copy of the presentation to everyone as well. So you'll have a copy of the presentation.
Real time processing. What does it mean? And what do I need to have at the table with me, right? What is that flow? Determine your position, develop the strategy, build the plan, and manage the performance. Once the plan is in place, your operations meeting, your project planning tools, they all make sense again. How do you manage what you said you want it to do? You got to go back to your tools. And getting the planning document, utilizing those tools, you build it out. And you can do this in a spreadsheet. You have a template in front of you as well. All of what we talked about. This is the last piece, and I'm going to try to do this in 60 seconds, but I want you all to understand there are different ways to kind of do an analysis of your business. If you've heard of a SWOT,
Yes.
heard of a SWOT,
Yes.
it's being honest about where you are in your business and where your threats are. You literally can take this template and list it out for your company. A Prestel or Prestel is a different way to actually do this analysis. I've not used this process, but if it makes sense based on the type of company that you have and the regulations that you need to align with, this may be the better way for you to do an analysis of your company. And then the 5 forces model. Very similar to a SWOT, but it's really about you bringing in together, all of the elements that impact your business, right? Competition, what's happening, what does that look like? Understanding how the market is responding to the service you provide. And then these are your items you'll include, move this out of the way, in your written strategic plan. This thing isn't nice to us. I'll move it down here. Yeah. All of what we talked about, all are important. I know, deep sigh. You're gonna get through this, I promise. That's what your coach is for, okay? No fear, your coaches are here. Yes.
Should we have at least some of this written out, dealt with before we meet with our coach?
100%. No, well, no. Before you meet with your coach? Yes. Yeah, you can use your framework, use your tools. Go ahead and start it. They're gonna ask you what's your plan. You are bringing it to the table. They don't know. They're gonna walk with you from where you are. That's what you can expect from your coach. They're gonna start where you are. It may take you back some steps when they realize where you are, but they're gonna start where you are. All right? And so I'm wrapping up, but I just want you all to be really clear. The most important piece, I think, is the front end, understanding the how and the why is necessary. Now that you understand that, there's my direct information if you want to reach out, and my email. I'm not sure if you're on our team and we'll be working directly with you, but I just want to say, this process is your friend. It's your friend. You need this to work. You need this to be successful. You need this to see the gains in your business, right? So take it all in, take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. You're going to really appreciate this next break you get. And just know that the front end, which is the why and the how, is the most important piece. And then you can get into execution, okay? Good? Everybody okay? All right, you made it. All right.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Kyra.
everyone.
All right. So now you see why she's our coach, because all that information, we just, you need somebody to deep dive into that. So we're going to take a 5-10 minute break. I know we're running over. Sorry, we're going to take a 5-10 minute break. We're running over just a little bit. I want to mention one thing about, so Kyra said so many big things, but one word that was used quite often during the whole pandemic was pivot, right? So everyone's talking about, how do you pivot? How do we act differently? How do we perform differently in order to survive the new, right? The new normal. And I think that what is absolutely necessary in terms of trying to figure out if you need to pivot, and I think we all need to pivot, is to go through the strategic planning process, understanding what your competitors are doing, understanding how the industry has changed, what your resources are, what needs you have. All of that helps you figure out what your pivot needs to be. So in order for us to survive in the new normal, we've got to understand what the landscape looks like, and we've got to plan efficiently for that. So this piece is a very important part of that process. So with that being said, let's take about a 5 to 10 minute break. We're going to do some technology things, and then we'll be back. Thanks, guys.
Hi, Ashley. Can you hear me? I'm going to unmute you. Well, looks like I can't unmute you. So can you unmute yourself?
Hi.
Okay. And say something again, Ashley. Can you?
Hello. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Stephen, under in that drawer. Ashley, can you do a test 1, 2, 3 test?
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
How's that? That's good. Okay, good deal. So Ashley, I think it'll probably be better if you share your screen.
Okay.
And you can go through your PowerPoints versus me having to do it manually because I won't know when you're ready to.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Perfect. Okay, so now we're good to go. That was easy. So
yeah,
I'll
I just sent a question. I want to know, do you prefer that I take questions throughout or at the end?
That's a good. So my preference was to do it at the end, but we kind of had questions as we were going along. For sure. It's your preference.
Okay.
But what you'll see, because you're on the webinar version, you have to stop share in order to see the chat.
I see.
And so all the panelists that are on virtually, they can't talk, they can only chat.
I see. Okay. Then I may wait till the end then, because that may be a little confusing going back and forth.
I think that's probably the best idea. Awesome. Okay, well, 5 minutes, we'll get started.
Okay, sounds good.
and I've got my stuff to introduce her. All right, guys, we're gonna try to get back seated. Get back going, you guys. We're at the halfway mark, so we're getting close. So if you guys could go ahead and grab a seat again. I'm glad we're having a chance to network and talk and get to know each other, because that's exactly what this is all about. We will help to hold each other accountable. Yep. Okay. Well, thanks again. We're past the halfway mark, and we're going really well. We got a lot of great information that we've shared so far, and I'm very excited to get to our next presenter. I was reading a book just lately. It's a book called The Motive, and I can't remember who the author is of that book, but he talked about the difference between a chief executive officer and a chief executing officer. And he said, executive is more of an adjective, a noun, whereas an executing officer is an adverb. It's an action, right? And so a lot of people get to the CEO level, and especially us as founders of our companies get to the CEO level, and we expect that we've made it to this level. Now we get a chance just to delegate, and everybody gets to, we want everybody to do their job, and we just get to sit back in the golden office and not do anything. But as CEOs, our position is to do the dirty work. I think Kyra kind of mentioned, like, on the operation side is the dirty side of business, but CEO side, we're doing the things that other people don't want to do, right? And ultimately, to be honest, there's a fallacy. Sterling and I talk about this all the time. The fallacy of entrepreneurship is that once you become, a CEO or a founder of your company, now you get a chance to be your own boss. That's so far from reality, right? The reality is that as the owner of the company, you now have multiple bosses. Your employees, your clients, your stakeholders, your customers, you report to everyone, right? And everything stops at your desk, and you're responsible for everything, right? So just keep in mind that as CEOs, we are more than just that in name, and get a chance to, we're there to execute and to make sure that our teams are executing and being successful. So that is our responsibility. That being said, I want to introduce Ashley Small. She is a PR extraordinaire, not just public relations, but she has a bridge between public relations and technology. We were introduced to Ashley. She's from Houston. I think she's from Houston. She spent some time in Houston. She's probably in her California office, and maybe in her Canada office, or somewhere, where she's all around the world now traveling. And but she's done. In fact, I thought it was interesting that what the space that she's in when the pandemic hit became very popular in terms of PR and technology, and taking advantage of being able to remotely learn. And she was already in that space, so she was in a beautiful space. So she's going to talk to us about branding, about reinventing ourselves from a marketing and branding standpoint. And I'm very excited to have her here to present to us. So Ashley, I'm sure you're going to say some more about yourself. So without further ado, Miss Ashley Small.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I am currently in Georgia. So we are identifying new markets that specifically have a high population of diverse communities and have an emerging tech community to expand our company into. And Georgia is our next market after having expanded into California last year. But thank you for having me. I'm so happy to share here. I am going to share my screen if I can. May I have the ability to share my screen? Looks like I'm not able to at the moment. But while that's happening, I will tell you a little bit about myself. I own Medley Incorporated. We turned 12 this year. So I launched the company pretty quickly out of school because I went to school to be a journalist. But as you all know, the newspaper industry has declined significantly. So the year that I graduated was the same year that Twitter was introduced to the market. So in that same year, 50% of newspapers declined. I did get a job at the Houston Chronicle, got laid off after about a year. Luckily, in the meantime, while the Chronicle was kind of slowly making layoffs, I started my own company because I knew that eventually the newspaper industry would no longer be a viable long-term option for me. And I needed to figure out how to marry my experience with digital marketing and my desire to be a journalist and create an agency. That's how Medley was born. We are a small but mighty team. As the Carter brothers mentioned, we have an office in Houston, Los Angeles, and now we're expanding to Georgia. And we have clients in Chicago as well. So those are our top 4 markets. And specifically focus on organizations that want to make a social impact in the world, that have a feel-good story. I think every organization has a feel-good story. So some of our corporate clients include Kroger. While it is a consumer product, consumer retail store, they do a lot of good work in the community. On the government side, we work with the city of Houston quite a bit, a couple of local districts, and the same with LA. We work with the city of LA there. So work with quite a few nonprofits, some for-profit organizations, but our job is to tell authentic, compelling stories that impact consumer behavior, that help consumers want to encourage consumers to buy into your brand and help shape your story for long-lasting relationships for the market. We know that consumers today no longer want to just buy the product. They want to buy the story behind the product and want to invest in the owner as well. I think I can share my screen now, so I'm going to try. Let's see. Okay. I'll do this, share here, then I'll share here. Unfortunately,